Hey guys, so today I'm going to talk about um, why being at peace and being happy is a muscle, and being present is a muscle that you have to work and not simply something that you just discover or that you come across or that you find or that something that you're waiting for to come and happen to you because it's not that will never happen. It is a muscle that you have to work, and chances are, your muscles in that sense are weak. Especially if you've been searching for uh, answers that will never come, and you just think you have to search for it. No, it's a muscle. Uh, Being present is a muscle that you have to train. Being happy and being at peace are muscles that you have to train. Not overthinking is a muscle that you have to train. It's not like, oh, if I just think hard enough, I'll stop overthinking. No, it is a muscle. The good news is that this muscle is actually incredibly easy to work and to train. It's actually it's actually too easy, uh, and it might that's the thing. Like it seems too easy, so people don't want to go down that route of working that muscle because they think it's too easy, and that can't be right. Sometimes the right pathway is the easiest path, and that uh, could be very difficult to grasp. So let's start with living in the moment. Uh, how does someone live in the moment? Okay, well, what does living in the moment bring? Well, it brings peace and contentment and happiness. Uh, it's a huge contributor of to happiness. People who live in the moment. If you're always regretting the past or worrying about the future, you're not living in the moment, and uh, it's not. There's no secret to living in the moment. It is something you simply practice and do, you might if you're really bad at living in the moment. It's not just gonna like snap and happen. It's a muscle. You have to gradually get better and better at doing that, living in the moment. So, what are some ways that? Because I struggle with this myself. What are some ways in which someone could start living in the moment? Um, for me, a good one is forgiving yourself for doing stuff like not living, like for not living in the moment, like forgiving yourself for dwelling on the past. It might seem like, well, that's obvious, but if you're really strict on yourself, like I am, you're like, oh, come on, you're not living in the present. Like you're, why are you thinking this? Like you start policing your thoughts, and it snowballs, and you end up getting caught up thinking. And this also relates to overthinking as well. I mean, it's all connected. Um, so forgive yourself. That's a big one. Just be like, you know what, this is fine. Uh, what's another one? Another way to live in the moment. Um, Observing your surroundings. And that's a big one. Observing your surroundings. Jay Shetty, who's an author who wrote Think Like a Monk, uh, which I'm halfway through that book. It's a good book. But he says, like, name two things you can taste, two things you can smell, hear, touch. Uh, yeah, just your senses. Start with that. Um, just list out things you can observe, and just do this constantly, and make it a habit, and it will. There are huge benefits to this. It might seem stupid and silly and easy, but it really does help. It is very huge doing that. Okay, what else? Um, we said, okay, breathing. Just focusing on your breathing. That is huge as well. Being in the present, just taking deep breaths, because it really anchors you. If you just focus on your breath and nothing else, it really anchors you to the present. And just do this constantly. Meditate all the time. Like, all the time. There's huge benefits to meditating aside from being present. I mean, but yeah, we're talking about being present. I will get to that later. The other benefits. What else? What else? Just learning to stop thinking. Thinking is the root of not being in the present. And if you're just not learn to not think. Now that might seem really hard. For me, I have some traumatic past experiences where people think I'm stupid, or there's like, I don't know, like people think I'm whatever, and it causes me to I've learned that trauma has caused me to think a lot and to use it as a crutch and to like prove people wrong that no, I'm very much aware of my surroundings. But it's actually paradoxical, because the more I think, the less aware I actually become. I get kind of consumed in thinking, and it's this distorted attempt to prove people wrong and to be present, and it turned out to be something very ugly, which I'm working on. So yeah, those are ways to be more present. That is a huge thing. But what else? So you want to be at peace, the muscle of peace and happiness. What about that? We talked about the muscle of being present, but what about being happy and at peace and not overthinking? How do you not overthink? Now that is hard. Well, I guess let's go back to thinking. Like, how does one simply not think? That is really hard. How do you do that? That is a good question. So there's a book called Don't Believe Everything You Think. That book is amazing. I will do a book review at some point. But the author talks about okay, here we go. Observing your thoughts. And okay, so the author distinguishes between thinking and thoughts, and he says thoughts are natural and they're neutral and they're infinite, and they spring from an infinite source of love, peace, and joy, and they're out of your control. A thought will occur. You cannot stop it. You cannot police your thoughts. The good news is that they're not good or bad, which allows you the ability to simply observe them without applying judgment, because he says, the author, judgment on thoughts is what creates negativity, overthinking, and disturbance from peace. So simply, okay, here, he gave a good example. I'll give it to you. He says, if you have a bowl of muddy water, how do you separate the mud from the water? And it's funny, like, the more you try to think about it, like, okay, well, you can like get your hands in there, scoop up the mud. Well, no, that'll just make it worse. He says all you have to do is sit and let the water and the dirt separate, and the dirt falls to the bottom and the water floats to the top, or I guess it stays at the top. That is how you do it. So the more you try to fight your thoughts, the more powerful the negative energy becomes and less at peace you are. He says, just don't think. And it seems so unnatural, especially for me, but that's really how it is. Just don't think. Let your soul, your spirit guide you. You don't need to do it. You can simply come along for the ride. You don't need to think. And it's about letting go too. Like I said, it is so easy that it is actually hard. Letting go. that is the hardest part. Another thing that I'm not sure how many people struggle with this. I know I struggle with this is postponing doing stuff because it's not the right time or it's not the right time. Okay, what do I mean by that? Like what? Like okay, coming across a good YouTube video and telling yourself, you know, man, I'd love to watch that. I'm just not in the right mindset to watch it. Like I'm not gonna fully enjoy it if I watch it now. I want to be in the right mindset. Well, that right mindset never comes. Like I don't know how relatable that is, but what else? Can that be applied to other stuff too? Like postponing doing something. Never do that. Never postpone. Always live as if you're about to die. There we go. I guess I should have said that. Live as if you're going to die tomorrow. Good exercise, actually. I do this at work. I tell myself, okay, you have 1 hour to live. What are you going to do? And you really find out that you can actually squeeze quite a bit in 1 hour. And then once the hour's up, you're like, oh, I'm still breathing. Nice. It's bonus. It's extra. The Stoics talk about that. Live as if you're about to die. So practice, I guess, give yourself these like scenarios that like you're going to die in 1 day. So what are you going to do? What would you do if you were to die in 1 day or 1 hour or 1 minute? What would you be doing? Now do that. Now obviously realistically you cannot keep doing that. Like if like it, for instance, like if I knew I was going to die at the end of the week, I would spend all of my money and I don't even know, I'd do some crazy stuff if I knew I was going to die. So obviously like this is an exercise. That's the right word I was looking for. Maybe start with bite-sized chunks, you know? Maybe a little bit of that is healthy. Just a little bit. Like a little bit of thinking you're going to die. Don't go all the way. That's not good. But just incorporate these in your life. What else? We're at the 12-minute mark. Yeah, I mean, I got more to say. I'll make another video. So, yeah, just follow those steps, what I've said. And that will strengthen the muscle. So do not waste time searching for the answers or waiting for the right time to come to do it. Don't do that. Do it now. Start now. Start right now. Don't wait, because that's not going to do any good for you. You got to start right now. Do it. Be a doer. So anyways, leave a like if this helped you. Please subscribe too if you're new to the channel. I really appreciate it. I have a lot more of these coming out. And yeah, I guess I will catch you guys later. Peace.